tracking trouble. All eyes to the skies and 4 Live radar. Paul Ghost is tracking some thunderstorms and some big changes. Plus, Governor Gretchen Whitmer shuffles millions in State Department funding during a special state administrative board meeting. Take a closer look at what funding was shuffled after a season of contentious budget negotiations that nearly shut down the state government. House Democrats are moving fast in the impeachment probe. They're trying to get documents and speak to key witnesses in the Ukraine scandal. The whistleblower's lawyer already expressing serious concerns about his client's safety, pointing to the president's recent comments caught on a recording.
You know what we used to do in the old days when we were smart, right? With spies and treason, right? We used to handle it a little differently than we do now.
Meantime, the president and his allies fight back. A look inside the investigation next at noon.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
All right, let's start with your forecast. This first day of October feels more like the dog days of August. Paul Gross is tracking some storms are on the way. Paul, what's out there?
Well, fortunately, things are quiet right now, Steve. So we're focusing on the heat and humidity at the noon hour, and a lot of us are in the mid-80s already. In fact, the heat index several degrees warmer than these numbers. And in fact, look at Monroe. It already feels like it's nearly 90 degrees there. Now, here's the big wide picture of radar. Again, most of what you see here is well to our north, but if you notice, right about here, watch this, right there, we've got a thunderstorm that has developed, and this thing is moving eastward. And so as long as it continues moving eastward, it should be to Sanilac County about 2 o'clock or so. So we'll kind of watch that for you, because there is the potential for a severe storm this afternoon as well as tonight. So most of us don't get a storm this afternoon. It's just really far to the north of I-69 where that threat is for the daytime hours. 87 the high for the rest of us with a heat index near 90 degrees. I'll be back with the severe weather and the flooding threat as well in just a bit, Steve.
We are following breaking news from Dallas. A former police officer has been found guilty of murder in the shooting death of an unarmed man. Amber Geiger was a Dallas police officer. She was off duty. She said she entered what she thought was her apartment. She confronted a man who was in his own apartment, and she shot and killed him. She said it was a mistake. Prosecutors called it murder. Moments ago, a jury found Geiger guilty. New here at noon, Governor Gretchen Whitmer shuffles millions in State Department funding during a special state administrative board meeting this morning. This comes after a season of contentious budget negotiations that nearly shut down the state government. The transfers are within 13 departments. The governor says she is giving certain programs priority. Rod Maloney is live now for us with some closer looks at what these changes mean. Rod?
Well, you know, Steve, I was here in January when the governor was sworn in, and the leadership said they thought they could work with the governor. She thought she could work with them. Get to October 1st, and, well, not so much. And here's the thing. The governor is saying that the legislature is broken. It was never serious with its budget proposal, and so here she is now with $1 billion in vetoes. Now, that's the largest veto pen, or the line item veto pen, any Michigan governor has ever used. She vetoed 147 separate items, and it was to undo spending cuts to the Health and Human Services, $233 million there, $375 million in the transportation budget. That, of course, is a big issue because the governor wants to do road funding outside of the regular budget, and the legislature did not. She also approved, Steve, and the video you're seeing there is of the administrative hearing they had this morning of $600 million in transfers. And what that is the governor has the ability to take money from one bucket, if you will, and stick it in another one if need be, and that's what she felt she needed to do. Now, the governor is not happy to have to do transfers and line item vetoes, and this is exactly what she had to say about the entire process and where she stands with the Republicans right now.
There are critical functions that have been undermined. The legislature took restricted funds and used them in unlawful ways. They overestimated how much money was in them. They reappropriated work projects in violation of state law. They tried to micromanage MDOT without working through the Transportation Commission and PA 51 that they supposedly hold so dear. These are all examples of the unlawful pieces of this fatally flawed mess that they sent to me.
And so here we go. What comes next? Well, the governor says she wants to meet on Thursday with the leadership, although Mike Shirkey, the Senate Majority Leader, essentially said in a statement this morning that he's not interested in a tug of war with the governor. If this is the budget she wants, then it's the budget she will get. So we'll see where that all takes us. We're going to be speaking to the Speaker of the House here in just a couple of minutes. We'll have that coming up on Local 4 News at 5. For now, reporting live in Lansing, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, from state government to national government, House Democrats moving fast in the impeachment inquiry. They're trying to get documents and speak to key witnesses in the Ukraine scandal as the president and his allies fight back. House Democrats are escalating their impeachment strategy as 3 committees issue a subpoena to Rudy Giuliani, ordering Trump's personal attorney to submit documents related to Ukraine.
We've asked for his documents. We'll then talk to his associates and then decide whether to bring him in at that point.
The decision was fueled by Giuliani's stunning admission in a CNN interview that he did press the Ukrainians to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son. The 3 chairmen believe Giuliani has, quote, evidence in the form of text messages, phone records, and other communications indicating that you were not acting alone and that other Trump administration officials may have been involved in this scheme, end quote. Giuliani says he's undecided on whether he will appear before Congress.
Oh, I don't know. I'm weighing the alternatives. I'll kind of like go through it. I'll get all my evidence together. I'll get my charts.
A source tells CNN that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was also on the July 25th phone call with the Ukrainian president. When questioned about it last week, Pompeo deflected.
What do you know about those conversations?
So you just gave me a report about a high-seek whistleblower campaign, none of which I've seen.
A source familiar with a recent call between the president and the Australian prime minister tells CNN that President Trump pressured him to help Attorney General William Barr review the origins of the Russia investigation. The White House has dismissed that report, calling it part of a previously announced investigation.
It's okay to cooperate with Mueller to get Trump, but it's not okay to cooperate with Barr to find out if Trump was a victim of an out-of-control intelligence operation. We're not going to have a country like that.
President Trump and his allies are forcefully pushing back against what they call false narratives that the whistleblower lacked firsthand knowledge of the conduct outlined in the complaint. The document stating the whistleblower possessed both firsthand and other information. Meanwhile, President Trump's focus, finding out just who the whistleblower is.
Well, we're trying to find out about a whistleblower. When you have a whistleblower that reports things that were incorrect.
The whistleblower's attorney tweeted that the individual is entitled to anonymity and is not to be retaliated against. Doing so is a violation of federal law.
Any rational person would be concerned about the whistleblower's safety.
Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate, quoting him, would have no choice but to have a trial if the House passes articles of impeachment. So let's break down the impeachment process. 6 committees investigating the president. All allegations of impeachable offenses must be made in order to move forward. The House Judiciary Committee would then draft articles of impeachment. After that, the House of Representatives would vote on the articles of impeachment. There needs to be a majority vote for it to move on. If there is, the defendant is impeached. After that, the Senate would begin a trial. Conviction in the Senate requires 2/3 supermajority vote. The result of a conviction would be removal from office. First-term Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is the target of an ethics investigation in Washington. The House Ethics Committee is looking into reports that Tlaib paid herself a salary out of campaign funds after the 2018 election. If that's true, that would be a violation of ethics rules. Tlaib's office denies any misuse of funds. Representative Tlaib is fully cooperating with the investigation. Today marks day 16 in the UAW strike against General Motors. The impact being felt on both sides. Strikers now receiving $250 per week in strike pay. GM closing plants in Canada and Mexico because of the work stoppage in the U.S. Published reports say the two sides are making little progress on the issue of GM's use of temporary workers. Negotiations continue this morning. We are following developing stories around the world this afternoon, beginning in Hong Kong, where for the first time police have fired live ammunition at anti-government protesters. At least one protester was wounded. The Hong Kong protests against police brutality and reductions in freedom continue as the mainland People's Republic of China celebrates 70 years of communist rule. There was a violent incident now reported in eastern Finland. Witnesses tell police a student entered a college campus building with a sword and stabbed several people. He also fired shots from a handgun. One person was killed, at least 10 injured. Police confronted the attacker in a nearby shopping center. He was wounded. He is now in police custody. The motive for the attack is unknown. Still to come, a second phase of roadside drug testing underway in Michigan. We'll see what this means and which communities are impacted. But first, a shooting at a Coney Island leaves a mother searching for answers.
He was shot in the abdomen and in his leg, and they have him in a seduced coma. I want to know who did this to my baby.
We'll see where the investigation stands.
I want you to take a look at this map because it has some very important data. See all these dots? Those are all the deer crashes in one particular area in our region for the year 2018. And you can see there are a lot of them. Today at 4 and First at 4, I'm actually going to take you to that community and tell you why a naturalist says deer are not the only things you need to be looking out for this time of year.